Welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Other M. There's a number of items around here, and I don't think I can get any of them, and that saddens me. I know that one I can't get. I don't have access because they're not going to let me over there yet, so I can't get, like, half of those. There's the item, like, directly behind me over here. I know one of them... Yeah, the one directly across from me I cannot get, but what's that one up there? Like, what's this one? Oh, okay, I can't get that one either. Man! Okay, now last time I spoke very briefly about the Metroid manga. I didn't say much about it, but I did mention that this game does consider it canon. Hey, y'all remember this place, don't ya? God dang it. How did y'all do that? Now, of course, not everybody has read the... You can do that. Of course, not everybody has read the Metroid manga, and I'd say another really big fault with this game is that it kind of expects everybody to have read it and know what's going on in it. And that's honestly just silly. I don't want to fault it for trying to include the Metroid manga, because, I mean, heck, a couple other Metroid games did it, and I thought it was kind of neat, the way they did it. But they didn't do it in a way that forced you to understand, or forced you to have already known what happened in it. Because Metroid Zero Mission, for example, actually showed the two Chozo that raised Samus. There's an item over here. Oh no, I can't get back up. There's also potentially an item around the corner in there, and I don't know if I can get that yet, but I'm going to take a quick look. Wait. No. I know what that room is. I can't. Not yet. But now that we have the grappling beam, we can head up this way. Whereas before you could run up here, but last time you were in here, you didn't even have a Varia suit. But now that you have the grappling beam, you can actually hop up here. I just saw a blue light fly by. I don't know. I wonder how big this room is. Like, if we could turn off the hologram in here. So, yeah, on one hand, it's really crappy move that they would actually expect you to know that, and that's horrible. I like the idea that they are trying to include it, but I hate the idea that they kind of forced you to already know it. And on top of that, to even understand that this game was written without Metroid Prime in mind. Again, crappy deals. And going back to my chief complaint with this game, which is that they do a very poor job of explaining anything to the player. Oh dear. But since not many people have read the Metroid manga, and yet it is actually important to this game... Come on, Samus, look up. I wanted to take today to talk very briefly about it, and what happened within it. Holy crap, you can do that?! This guy just tried to eat me! Ow, 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 ow. Now, there's a lot in the Metroid manga that went into characterizing Samus, and showing a lot of details about her early life and when she was being raised by the Chozo and everything. And though I will say it's a really neat read, a lot of that isn't actually that important to this game. So I'll try not to take forever. When Samus was 3 years old, she lived on a mining colony with her parents. Here she met two Chozo, Grey Voice and Old Bird, as they were passing through. After not long, they left, leaving the colony. A short time later, the space pirates attacked, led by Ridley. Their goal was to take a precious resource that had just been mined up. Samus attempted to befriend Ridley, only for Ridley to turn and attempt to kill Samus. Samus was saved by her mother, who dove in the way, being killed before Samus's eyes. Samus's father self-detonated the mining facility, killing himself, in an attempt to destroy the pirates and stop them from getting the resource. Not long after that, the Chozo returned to find Samus the only survivor, everyone else having been killed by the pirates. They took her back to Zebus, where they raised her, infusing her with Chozo DNA and giving her the power suit so she could survive in such a harsh environment. Here she also met Mother Brain, a computer the Chozo had created to monitor the planet. Over 11 years later, Samus left Zebus and joined the Galactic Federation military. Sometime after serving, she heard of a pirate attack on Zebus, killing all the inhabitants. Along with two military friends, she rushed to Zebus. Here she learned that the Chozo had created the Metroids and that Mother Brain had become the space pirates' leader. Ridley arrived and revealed that when Samus's father exploded the mining facility, Ridley had to consume a lot of human flesh in order to heal, most likely eating Samus's parents. Standing over Samus and tending to kill her, Samus showed signs of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD most often affects military veterans, but can affect anybody who has experienced a very traumatic event. When triggered, it brings the person mentally back to the event that caused it, essentially reliving the traumatic event. Samus was unable to move and could barely breathe, and was saved by her two friends. She stayed in this state for, and I'm not kidding, more than 30 pages. She eventually snapped out of it in order to save her friends. The situation on Zebus, however, had gotten too bad and they had to retreat off the planet. A few years later, she returned to Zebus during Metroid Zero mission. A few notes on PTSD. Most importantly, it is not something that you get over or goes away. It's with you for the rest of your life. Those symptoms can fade over a great time. You can mentally prepare yourself and learn to function, but the right event will still trigger it. In Zero Mission, she went to Zebus knowing she was going to fight Ridley, and the same in Super Metroid, though perhaps her first encounter with him on Ceres was questionable. Especially if you take into account that this game doesn't consider Prime canon, and that Ridley was finally killed outright in Super Metroid. Samus has perhaps relaxed a little bit. And our dear friend there has grown once again. I have no idea what crap these things are, but it's hard to judge distance on them. Can't even shoot them anyway. Bunch of jerks. Super missile door. You know, thinking about it, we also don't yet know who the deleter is. There's actually people in the comments who've mentioned that, though they don't think it's Anthony, they do think it could be Adam. And there's a couple wild theories on that one. I'll wait until a bit later in the game to talk about who I think it is and what's going on with that. But I wouldn't brush Anthony off just yet. The only couple times we've seen the deleter was something that really nobody else saw. We saw him piloting the one ship, but that doesn't really tell us much about who it was, and in someone else's recollection. So, like, yeah, Anthony had the big, like, plasma beam stapled to him, but I'm willing to bet you could take that off. We don't know who it could be.
Get out the way! Man, can't see a thing in here. We gotta clear out. Where's the exit at?
Can't see Jack. The exit was right over here. Was.
Duck. This ain't good. Well, only one thing to do, huh? Let's tear this thing up.
Wait, Anthony. Leave this one to me. Don't waste your plasma.
Heck yeah, oh dear. Oh my. Doing a whole lot of good when I can't see anything. Ah. I can't shoot him! Can't see a thing! There's gotta be something I can...
Samus, blast the eruption port to get the magma flowing.
You got it! If I can even see it! Ah! Oh, I know that's Anthony. Or that's... yeah, that's Anthony. Crap. What am I shooting? There it is!
Use your super missiles.
You got it! Super missile go! Let's light this crap up.
Samus, do you copy? Samus! Samus, use your plasma beam! What's your status?
You can't be!
Samus, do you read me?
Unit loading! Man, you got no stop! I think I gotta teach you a lesson about settling. Come on!
Anthony! Don't do it!
Come on!
Took her a second to get her crap back together, but we are ready to roll! I'm gonna plasma beam you in the face! Okay, the most efficient way I've found... Ooh, and he does breathe fire, so that's pretty great. Most efficient way I found to dodge when he shoots his... Yee! When he tries to stab you with his tail is just to keep jumping. Don't rely on the sense move. And he's gone black now. Which means your plasma beam no longer works. However, a super missile will knock him out of it. Jeez, man. Not making this easy on me. Stand back. Stand back! Oh! This is gonna sting! I love me a good Ridley fight. I really do. I know I'm not saying much, but like, it's a rough fight because there's a lot going on. But I love me a good Ridley fight.
I wondered if Anthony was conscious as he hit bottom. Unbearable thoughts welled up in me, making me want to get as far away as I could. I regretted not being able to protect him. And I regretted thinking, even for a moment, that he would betray me. Or fail to come to my aid at the expense of his own safety.
That was the most controversial event in this entire game, and I'm sure the comments are going to be wonderful. Now, to give my thoughts on what just happened there, I've got 4 questions here that I'm going to answer, and feel free to answer them yourselves. Given an understanding of the backstory used within this game and PTSD, do I think her reaction was appropriate? Yes. It's something that's going to continuously bother her, and I think if anything's going to catch her off guard, it's that. Do I think it's alright for this game to expect the player to have read the manga, understand PTSD, and understand what this game considers canon and non-canon? No. There is way too much information here that a normal person will not know and should never be expected to know going into this. Do I think this is a trait Samus should or could have? Could? Yes. And I think it would be really cool to showcase a character with it, which is not something you see very often in games. However, should? No. But I'll get to that more in a second. Perhaps the most important question of all of these: do I think this scene should have been in this game? No. Even if I assume that they explained everything perfectly, so the player completely understood Samus's backstory, understood PTSD, even if I assumed all of that, I still don't think this should have been here. For one, I think way too many Metroid games have come out thus far with no hint of that at all. People have come to their own conclusions and made their own assumptions about what kind of character Samus is and how she would act and react. And this kind of thing being dropped on everybody, as I'm sure we've seen already with the opinions about this game, is not something a lot of people would kindly accept. Add to that, I think PTSD is generally something that's very, very difficult to write for, especially in this kind of game. In general, I think players like a triumphant story, one where a character is perhaps stricken by something, but overcomes it and proves that they're bigger and better than it, defeat it, effectively. And that's not really something that you can do with PTSD, since it doesn't go away. Instead, I feel like it would just leave the player feeling kind of weak and helpless. And I feel kind of crappy saying it, but I think especially in this kind of game, it's just not something a lot of players would enjoy playing. I think this would have worked a lot better if Other M had taken place much earlier in the Metroid timeline, probably even before Zero Mission, and her PTSD was treated as something that she overcame and then was no longer an issue, even if that isn't the most realistic depiction of PTSD. So those are my thoughts on the subject. Make of it what you will. We've also lost track of Adam. So we've got to get back up and check on him, and admittedly, things are going to be extremely linear for just a moment, because we don't have anybody leading us, and they really want to make sure we get this in.
Something was gnawing at me. Communication with Adam had ceased. From the deleter's point of view, Adam would represent the largest threat. Without question, his life had to be in danger. But it was Adam Malkovich. He wouldn't go down easily. And Adam would already know about the deleter, so there's no way he would let his guard down. If that was the case, then why couldn't I reach him? What did he think of the unfolding situation, and what was he planning to do next? My racing thoughts started to frustrate me.
Elevator comes back quick.
This elevator is bound for Sector 1.
We can't go anywhere else because the doors are still locked. But we've at least seen someone suspicious. It's a bit sad to see that we've lost probably the best character in this game with Anthony. But until next time, everyone. That was probably the most controversial and most poorly handled scene in this game. But at least from here on out, things are going to be getting a fair amount better, I believe. Until next time, everyone.